Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. This is an important message for parents whose kids are in public schools or just about any other school. It's very important that you understand and know what is actually being taught in classroom. And if you do not agree with that, or it's not aligned with the value set or the practices that you have under your religion, you have the right to speak up against it. You're supposed to speak up. You have to talk to the teachers, the principals, the school authorities, go to trustees, go to elected officials at provincial level, go to elected officials at federal level, what have you. But you are not supposed to spread hate or discrimination against anybody. Any minority who has a certain set of practices, they're following certain set of, sexual relationship they're following are not your business. So remember the difference between talking about yourself, preserving your charter rights, and describing what you believe in is one thing, versus blaming somebody, naming somebody, calling names to people, calling people filth is a different thing. And you don't want to get into that. So you will be hearing about lots of protests going on. You will be hearing a lot of campaigns going on. Only and only be responsible. Engagement is the key. Please engage in those protests with responsibility and the grace of your own religion and the grace of your own values. Do not be part of any chants that are spreading hate against a certain minority. Do not engage in any kind of discrimination or discriminative narrative against any community. Please, please, please only talk about your rights as a Canadian. Only and only talk about your rights as a parent. You have the utmost 100% ultimate right to decide what goes inside your child's head as a training. You're right? You have to speak up against anything that is contrary to your values, and you have to lobby the governments, lobby the policy makers, lobby the school trustees, lobby the people who are actually getting elected and getting paid with your tax dollars to actually change those policies that are causing discrimination against you and your child in public schools, publicly funded schools. Those schools are funded with your tax dollars, and you have the right to actually talk about what is not right in those schools, just like any other community. So one particular agenda is spread across the board is not the way to go, but you're not supposed to cause any kind of hate or discrimination against one particular community. So here's one example. If you chant about parental rights, to become the first educator, parental rights, to actually leave the kids alone and let me teach my child about sexuality, sexual relationship, marital relationship, or any kind of relationship that are into the intimate corner of our relationships, is a parent's right. Talk about that. Do not talk about what happens in other people's bedrooms. Do not talk about what is not right about people doing or not doing. You're not supposed to talk about this. Whatever people decide about their relationship or their sexuality or their lifestyle choices is not your business. So only and only talk about yourself, your rights, your responsibilities, and your freedom of religion in this Canada that belongs to everybody, because everybody is an immigrant here. Nobody owns Canada other than our indigenous population, and people took over even their land. So we should be grateful that as an immigrant community, we have to understand each other's right, we have to understand each other's responsibilities, and we have to follow a practice of present a narrative that actually talks about everybody's rights and responsibilities. So be responsible. Yes, do attend the protest if you wish. Do go there and talk to other parents, engage with other people, but with very, very, very respectful kind of behavior. Very respectfully. Do not cause hate, discrimination, or dismay against any particular minority. Only talk about yourself. Only talk about your child. Only talk about what you want your child to have. Because under the charter rights, you have the freedom of religion. You have the freedom of practicing what you believe in. But you do not have the right to actually overstep the boundaries of other people. Remember that, and be responsible out there on the street during lobbying, during connecting, and do not even send messages that contain hate, discrimination, or any kind of disappointment or slogans or anything. Because just like you don't like being labeled as phobic people, You don't want anybody to actually do that, right? So nobody has the right to actually label us with phobias or people who are discriminating or spreading hate. Nobody has the right to do that. And you don't have the right to actually challenge somebody else's lifestyle, somebody else's practices, somebody else's choices. Okay? So spread this message and be responsible out there. Be responsible when you're talking to the elected officials, when you're lobbying them. Only and only describe what you believe in and why. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.